Good evening, guys. I hope everybody is well. For some reason, I'm not getting sound through here, but it looks like we've got Daniel Morales who got first dibs here this evening, and we've got Yusuf Musa saying, "Good race, boys." Unfortunately, Yusuf stuck in the clashing with me, unfortunately, so wasn't able to get himself out onto the race this evening, but we'll definitely get him sorted out for the next one. Just trying to figure out some of the sound. Not coming through on my side. So guys, if you're on the stream, just let me know that the sound is coming through, that you are able to hear it. It would be a little bit of a disaster if you were not able to. Guys, we are out in a practice, so what I'm going to do is let me just shut this down. Something doesn't like the setting there, because it seems that everything is going on, sound on, working now. Well, that's fantastic. I'm just not getting any sound through, so as long as you can hear me, you can hear the cars, I'm happy to go from here. I do see that 5 minutes ago we had this. So thank you very much, Duncan, for approving of this. Duncan, one of our drivers that has been with SARCO for a couple of years. And a little bit of havoc. We've got two drivers that have missed out, and that's getting to the lobby itself. Not only that, we've got Donovan, Reese, and Marius who are affected by load shedding. As you can see, we are at the Circuit of the Americas. The weather is partly cloudy to clear, and definitely one of my favorite tracks. It just has got such a nice flow to it, especially through the S's in the beginning. But it does take a little bit of getting used to, making sure that you get your rhythm right, and the track limits on this track are absolutely crazy. It takes every little bit of concentration to make sure that you do not run off, and some sorry, Yusuf, some messages coming through for Yusuf saying go Yusuf, but unfortunately Yusuf not racing this evening, and that's because he wasn't able to get into the lobby this evening, clashing with me, and with me being the host. That's definitely not going to work. But Yusuf will definitely get you in for the next season, and hopefully get you started off right from the beginning, so there aren't any issues. Just checking, guys. I want to know, are you able to hear the car sounds coming through? Because that for me is pretty important, that you are able to hear the cars and not just my voice coming through. Daniel War Machine Morales saying, "Let's go Ford baby," and that will be a dirt key. He's in the Ford, it's not blue. Stefan in a Ferrari. We are still in the practice at this point, so we haven't gone into the qualifying. But this is the last race for the season here this evening. Cats and Mike coming through spectacular. This is dropped by MSI logo. So as you can see, guys, MSI are I'd say a partner with SARCO now, currently providing us some hardware which has helped us fix the the stream quality that's coming out. So good that our friends at MSI have decided to jump on board and assist us. So Terry also just joined into the lobby. He did have a little bit of a delay in terms of getting in. His load shedding came up, but just waiting for the internet to connect through. Then we got Brandon DeSantos. Brandon Hills was in the lobby earlier, and still having some clashing issues between himself and Doki. Then Rockstar Mel, and Jacques in the forward this evening. And looking at the current standings, it is pretty much one-sided here this evening. Doki is already 30 points clear of Robert, but the last podium position, that is between Robert and Jacques, is second and third. There's only 3 points behind them. We did have Tyler, who was in 4th place overall, but he unfortunately not able to race this evening. And he could have made it a 4-way battle for that 3rd place, because essentially between 2nd to 5th there was only 13 points. It would have made things extremely interesting for the last battle here at COTA. So this evening it's between Robert and Jacques, and that will determine who finishes second. Dirkie just needs to keep it on the track. And with the 2 heats here this evening, there are 20 points available for a win. Do not lie to anyone, just bring up those points accordingly, so that we're able to make sure, no, that's not the one I'm looking for. That's the one I'm looking for. So that's a 20 points for a win here. So provided Dirkie keeps it on the track and doesn't disconnect twice, or 40 points up for grabs every single. So there's the other car we're going to be looking for, and that is Robert in the Ferrari. Stefan in a Ferrari, 202 and not a Ferrari, jeez, the problem with these colours. But in the Ford at 202.5, Jacques at 204.0, Dirkie 204.3, Vaughan 205.5, Brandon 206, Dead, Lafira 209, and then still waiting for Terry and Robert to get in a time. So cameraman Tim battling, following Terry's Ferrari there just for a moment. It looks like he did figure it out a little bit. Daniel, it's actually so funny that you said cats and audio mic cutting through spectacularly, because if you do a little bit of a replay and you speed it up, one of the comments was that it does sound like fighting cats. So when you said cats and voice coming through, I knew exactly what you were talking about. So that is awesome. And for those who do not know Daniel, Daniel is currently in the US. He works for Ford, so he is a massive Ford fan. So as he comes to the end of his working day, he comes and watches our racing. So thank you, Daniel, for that continued support. Just appreciating that comment. Fighting cats. Now you'll never be able to listen to racing again. So we can just jump on board with Mafira as we go around the track. Let's see if we've got something who's a little bit closer to the start. We do only have 20 minutes of practice complete. Does that make sense? Unless we're all waiting for the last 4 drivers just to cross that start-finish line. left-hander. Putting it nice and tight on the inside there. Brake at the white line, get the car down into second gear, get it nice and rotated. Not hit the curb on the outside. You can see how it just unsettled that car. Let's see where Terry is. So he's now coming through turn 15. And a very sharp turn 16. You can get that a little bit too quickly, and we generally understeer. And through 17 and 18. To the inside there, because now he's got to get all the way back to the right hand side, get on the brakes, turn that car in, stay off that inside orange curb, because that will definitely bounce the car off. And just as you hit the white line hard on the brakes, you see the rear just locking up there for Terry, but it almost helped him rotate the car. So here we go across the line, to the bits.
Hij is aan het klas van zijn eieren.
Shows that Terry had disconnected. He was able to
gereisd nie eintlik like die baan.
Now we will be moving on into the qualifying, and this is what we've been waiting for.
Secondly,
We'll find out how the guys are going to be pitted against each other for the last race here of the season. So two drivers getting out very quickly, so Dirkie not wasting any time. It looks like it was Brandon DeSantos who also wants to get out very quickly. So here we go down turn number 1 with Brandon, and you can see it nice and tight through the inside. Then flat through turn 3, gear down into turn 4. Just right this inside curve, let the car drift out, then it tightens up here on the inside through turn 6. Turn 7 is a third gear, flat out, then down into second gear through turn number 8, flat through turn number 9, little kink here at turn number 10. You can keep your foot planted, take a lot of that inside curve. And as you head to the hairpin, turn number 11, hard on the brakes, down into first gear, get the car rotated on the power nice and early, get as much straight down speed as you possibly can down the back straight. Always just keeping to the right hand side. Minimize the distance that you travel on this back straight. Watching out for the second last ball, there it is there, hard on the brakes now. Get down into second gear. Brandon just missing the apex, which almost runs him wide at turn number 12, but now into 13 and keep this one corner 13, 14 to just clip that inside curve. Then on the brakes now through turn 15, get it turned in, a little bit of understeer, missing that apex on the inside of 16 at Brandon. Now through a 17 delay, now turn in, get it nice and tight on the inside at 18. Stay on the inside, get as right as possible as soon as you can on the brakes, missing that turn-in point through turn number 19, then on the brakes now, turning in turn number 20. Thank you very much, Craig Hunter, approving of this. Really awesome to see the guys coming and joining. Let's jump on board with Dirkie, because now he's going to be on a flyer. Also got Adrian Bond, who's now joined us in the chat, saying let's go last race 100% on the brakes. Now you can see touching that inside curve, great corner there for Dirkie. Now down the hill, going to turn in nice and tight through turn number 2, stay off that curve on the inside, it doesn't take the car. A wide entry through turns 3, keeping that rhythm for 4. Just lost a little bit of that momentum going into turn 4, 9, 5, a little bit wide, down into second, a little bit too soon there. Might be in trouble there with the track penalties there. A little bit of understeer as he went through into 9. But now on that power, 120 miles per hour. As he comes up to turn number 11, he'll be hard on the brakes now, down into first gear, rotating that car around. Just using a little bit of the runoff on the exit there. Now you want to be on the right hand side of the track just to minimize any distance that you're using down this back straight. fastboard on the brakes, now down into second gear, get the car rotating in, get on the power. Stay into the left hand side now, one corner through 13. Just opens up a little bit through 14, straight line now, won't be braking, goes through the middle of the track, but now that opens up that turn number 16 for him. We'll now move to the left hand side. So waiting for the apex now. Now we'll turn in and get that car on the inside. Just washing out a little bit, set him up further than the middle of the track now. Missing that inside apex, but still a good lap so far. Now on the brakes, down second gear, riding the curve on the inside. And it will then come to cross the line. And that will give him a 205.4. But somehow we had Stefan, who was out on track as well. And he did a 202.5, so that was a really, really fast time there for him. And Vaughan Hills a 205.26, so a 0.004 is the difference between Vaughan Hills and Durkee, as Rockstar now will come and approach the line. And is in a Assetto Corsa Competizione, that start-finish line is very, very close to the exit of turn number 20. So Rockstar Mal gets himself up into second place there for the qualifying. Let's see where Brandon Dos Santos is currently. 207.3 there for him. We've got Robert Stoltz, hasn't put a time in yet. I'm not sure why all the drivers seem to just peel off to the middle of the track there as they exit out of turn number 11. Do you want to be right up against that white line? There we go, that's better. So obviously he heard me approaching turn number 12. Now on the brakes, just watch the rear of that Ferrari. If you gear down too quickly, that engine braking is not kind to you and it just wants to rotate the car, but you can use that to help rotate through some of the tighter, more hairpinny corners. That was a great entry into turn 16 there for Robert. Staying in the middle of the track, then we'll tighten up through 17 on the apex at 18, a little bit wide now. But now onto the brakes into 19, just missing that apex on the inside. Let's see if he can recover the lap now through turn number 20 up on the curve on the inside. A little bit of a delay to get that power back in, but he'll now head towards the line. And where does that put him on the starting order? So only a 6th place there for him. So that is the qualifying done and dusted, the last race here this evening for the Ford versus Ferrari series. Stefan in pole position, Rockstar Mal in 2nd, Vaughan Hills in 3rd, Durkee, he finishes in 4th place. From a qualifying point of view, Terry's in 5th, Robert 6th, Brandon Dos Santos in 7th, and Mafira in 8th place. So guys, while we're waiting for that clock to run down, just let us know who you're supporting here this evening. And while we're waiting for those messages to come through, I'm just going to grab something to drink.
Klink of jou antivries opdop.
window washer. Wil ik koud van mijn venster al was.
Alla cannons bestellen, ja.
Wat zeg ik?
Die cannons bestellen, ja.
Ja.
So guys, if you have just joined us, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Is dan
This
niet
is the first of 2 heats this evening. It is the final round
Ek het
of
aan 'n
our
gedink julle gaan
Ford
vinnig
versus
gewees.
Ferrari challenge.
Are you in the Olympico?
We have Sune that's just joined us, and she's going go Stefan. So we know
Ik is
exactly
een
who
kar
she's
met
going
die
to be cheering
brikpedal
for.
in komen.
But currently, the way the points are looking is that, well, I actually might have some time, because the guys are going to need to just do a quick formation lap. But I realize that I am controlling the camera as well. Ooh, Robert, 2-place penalty there for him. That's not going to work.
Ik moest het penalty ook zelf.
So I do see some chatting happening in the lobby. I just hope that they're happy for me to proceed.
Who's got the blue button?
Dylan.
So I'm not sure what they're saying, because I cannot hear it. Let me just drop a message on the Discord, just to make sure. Let's go. So there is a full formation lap that the guys will need to do, and that's why I'm saying that while they are sorting that out,
Good luck, everyone.
I am able to just quickly jukes the system here
Ja, cheers.
and
Goed,
get
in plus
the points
Die
up
gaan even
as they
lekker weg,
currently
hè?
stand.
Thanks, Santi.
Guys, do not despair. That is not the race starting in the background. That is just the formation lap. I just wanted to talk you through this just quickly. So as you can see that at the top, and that's 30 points clear, is Dirkie, currently in 4th place. Then this battle between Robert and Rockstar Mel. 3 points is the difference between Jacques and Robert. Rockstar Mel. We then had Tyler Scott, who was in 4th place overall, and only 12 points behind Robert for that battle for a 2nd or 3rd, and Marius 1 point behind there. Unfortunately, Marius load shedding there for him. So it would have been an absolute crack of a final should we have had the way things should be and not be affected by a load shedding. So the battles we're going to be looking out for is between Robert, who's now currently in 8th place, and just remember that the top 6 will do a reverse grid, and they will then go into the next. Dougie, Dirkie. I was just worried that Jacques was wanting to click over to the generator quickly. That's why I was hesitating. But druk die knoppie, baie dankie. So yes, indeed, it's going to be an absolute cracker. Even though there are only 8 drivers, I'm pretty sure that the racing will be very hot and happening. Yeah, at one of my favorite tracks, COTA. So Stefan will now just bunch up the 8 drivers as they approach the last corner, turn number 20. And it's all going to be just a matter of when he's going to go. Adrian, no, they're not doing 2 formation laps, but thank you for that. And that was because we had moved the server over to our wonderful friends at NAG, and that will be fixed for a Thursday's race, I promise you. So here we go, it is race, and Stefan out in front, currently leading now into turn number 1. And right on his tail is Rockstar Mel, running a little bit wide there, followed by Vaughan Hills in 3rd place in that Ferrari. And it is very much a Ford affair here, but I think there's only 2 Ferraris here, so there are 3 Ferraris. Now they head through the rhythm section, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And Vaughan really getting lots of pressure from the yellow Ford in the background there of Dirkie. There's Rockstar now making a bit of a mistake, so he's going to be pushed out wide, but Vaughan's going to go around the outside of turn number 10, or 9, apologies. That's through turn number 10, so great move there for Vaughan, and he gets himself up into 2nd place, and Dirkie is able to get himself through, while Jacques runs wide. Dirkie also making a little mistake, Vaughan trying to not give him the toe down this back straight. And you could just see the straight line speed advantage of the Ford. Vaughan just trying to squeeze him on the outside. But now Dirkie's going to set himself up on the inside through turn number 12. So a great move there for Dirkie, just using that forward straight line speed. But this is now where the Ferrari will come back at him. Through the twisty things, we have seen the Ferraris have been really, really good. And there's lots of Ferraris in the back there. So I did get the Ferrari to Ford combination very wrong. But Ford just touching the curb, going through turn number 18, and just unsettling that car a little bit. But now Vaughan's going to have Rockstar now, Ford a little bit wide. But now we'll get Stefan, you'll see Stefan out in front, starting to just open up a bit of a gap with Brandon DeSantos. He's now looking to close up the gap of 6 seconds to the leader. And further back is Terry Wilfred with Mafira. I was going to say just behind him, but that's 30 seconds. So something has definitely happened there with Mafira, whether it was a spin or something, we weren't able to see that. Currently the pressure is being mounted here by Rockstar Mel on the back of Vaughan Hills, and a big sideways action there for Vaughan. That rear just let him go. But now Jacques making a bit of a mistake as he enters into turn number 8. So Vaughan able to, even though making that mistake, able to get that place back, which has now allowed Brandon DeSantos to close right on the back of Rockstar Mel. We're also going to just keep our eye on the gap between 1st and 2nd place, because Dirkie's going to be wanting to close that gap down and get himself further up the order and really cements the dominance he has had here. Brandon now coming into the braking zone right on the back of Rockstar Mel in that Ford. It is a Ford Ferrari battle currently, and that is for 3rd, 4th and 5th place. So far race leader Stefan out in front, a 205.8. mistake there for Rockstar Mel again, just touching that inside curb through turn number 17, just unsettling the car, and again running wide, taking that Hot Wheels board with him and just leaving it in the middle of the track for somebody else later. But Brandon putting lots of pressure on Jacques, just trying to mount as much pressure as he possibly can. Brandon a little bit wide there, didn't quite make that first apex. And what's happening is that with his backing out in front is Robert and Terry now starting to find their way, and unfortunately Robert fighting for third place overall, losing that rear, just snapping on him. Thank you very much for that, Karot Foslu. Karot approves of this. Guys, if you are on our Facebook and YouTube channels, our little notifications do work. Try them out and see what you're able to find. So very disappointing there for Robert. He was starting to make some way back into this race, fighting for the second place overall. The cameraman Tim really missing out on that action. But this is now a Rockstar Mel has got Vaughan or Brandon dos Santos right behind him. So I keep thinking that Brandon dos Santos' car and Vaughan's car are the same, but they're actually not. To see there's more green in Brandon, so I won't make that mistake. Now Brandon green, Vaughan is blue. Into turn 13. Shark having lots and lots of pressure here. Not only trying to close down on Vaughan Hills, but also fighting with Rockstar now. You can see Vaughan just bouncing off that curb on the exit of 16. That just unsettled the car. Wasn't able to get that power down as he would have hoped to. So now has a Rockstar Mel chasing a little snap of the car once again. So hot action happening here for third, fourth and fifth place. So they cross the line 206.6, 206.2 and a 206.7. So the three out in front, these three in the mid-pack still fighting it out, but it is our race leader, Stefan, a 302.4, who really is starting to pull away a nice gap there. He was 3.2 seconds a couple of laps ago, but now that has opened up to a 5.3. So as we approach the 10-minute mark, having passed 15 minutes left to go, there's still the battle for third, fourth and fifth, and Vaughan still leading the charge here, but does have Jacques and Brandon dos Santos right on his tail. Getting the straight line speed advantage. You'll just see through the twisty stuff the Ferraris do come back to their own. And that was very, very close for the back of Brandon dos Santos, nearly climbing onto the rear of Jacques. But it looked like Vaughan Hills was just a little bit slow into the corner. And will Brandon have a look to the inside? He definitely does. And not only that, it looks like he's going to get past Vaughan Hills as well. But Vaughan now is going to hold the inside. Is there going to be space for Brandon to go around the outside? It looks like they are side by side currently. And Jacques now coming through as well, but that means Brandon dos Santos, a little lock up there for him, which now opens the door once again for Vaughan. And not only that, is Jacques is going to come through with just about taking that nose off. But I think Jacques just touched the brakes, allowed Brandon dos Santos to go through. But Brandon now just about taking two positions there, but right on the back of Vaughan Hills, and he has a big lunge into turn number one. Vaughan leaving that door open and allowing Brandon to go from fifth place, now taking third. Absolutely incredible drive there for Brandon dos Santos, but also just shows each driver just understanding that the guy's going to have a go and allows the space and the respect to be given. And in the background there, Rockstar Mal losing out, putting that car in the wall. So here comes the third place contender, and that is Robert, who's now going to be closing up onto Jacques. So that's Robert now coming in through turn number 8. Now through turn number 9. That's turn 10. Just trying to see whether we're going to see Robert. So there's the difference. Robert has got Jacques less than 3 seconds now ahead of him. So that is the second and third place contenders for the overall. I do want to get back to this battle, but I am going to be watching that 1 second indicator between Robert and Jacques. But Vaughan Hills still within a second of Brandon DeSantos as Brandon runs wide. That will impact his exit, which will get Vaughan to close up that gap. You can see now within half a second. Into turn number 19. Both drivers, great lines there, nice and tight onto the curb. Now onto the brakes through the last corner, turn number 20. And it looked like Vaughan might have got the better exit there. And will he be able to replicate what Brandon did to him earlier? He is definitely just having a little show on the inside of turn number 1, but not close enough. More than 3 cars is the gap there. I saw a car on the outside. Oh, that is Terry Wolford, who's stuck on the side there as you approach into turn number 1. So know that he has been having some challenges with his wheel and just not engaging some of the buttons. And side by side, Vaughan and Brandon. But Vaughan decides just to pull out of that move because too wide through 3, 4, and 5 definitely is tricky. But as I head up through turn number 9, there could be an opportunity into the braking zone at turn number 11. Vaughan will have a little show into 11, but now just about making sure he gets the exit. And he can set up a move into turn 12. So that gap now about 4 or 5 car lengths. It does look closer as they have the camera shot heading straight at them. I'm not sure whether Robert's starting to make a few mistakes because that gap was 3.8 seconds. It's now just about 4.5. But if we look at the current points, if Robert finishes in 6th place, that will give him 11 points. And if Jacques finishes in 5th, that will give him 12. Which means that it will go to the next race, and Jacques would have only made up 1 point there. So it would go down to the final. And not only that, but Robert would have the pole position, which would put him first and Jacques in second. And it will be whoever finishes ahead will get that second place on the podium overall. Less than 9.5 minutes left to go of this first heat of the 2 races this evening. And so far we've got Stefan out in front. 8.5 seconds is the gap. Durkee currently in 2nd place, as you can see that car just snapping off the curb there through turn number 9. And then a further 10 seconds down is Vaughan Hills in 3rd place. It looks like he's been able to just shake off Brandon DeSantos. Brandon was in 3rd place, but there's a just over 4-second gap now. And the one that we're very interested about is Rockstar Mal, who has got Robert now 6.2 seconds behind him. You see some damage on the front there. Jacques just losing the rear just snaps on him through turn number 7, put him on the wall, and that allowed Robert to start closing up the gap. And that's Jacques was fighting with Vaughan and Brandon through their little three-way horse there. Jacques now starting to close up on the back of Brandon and Santos. Or has there been something else that's happened? Or is that Jacques that has now disconnected? Which now gives the advantage straight back to Robert. So Robert now will, if he gets that 5th place, that's going to give him the 12 points, which then is going to put him 15 points clear of Rockstar Mal. So even if Jacques wins, Robert can come 12th and you'll still be able to take that 2nd overall. Adrian absolutely hitting the nail on the head there. The grid is small, but the action is still fantastic, most definitely. But as we start winding down to the end of this race, will we see Brandon Dos Santos closing onto the back of Vaughan Hills? Who's Vaughan circulating a 206.7, but Stefan out in front still putting in those monster times, a 203.8, Dirkie a 205.1, and it looks like Brandon did make another mistake because that was a 211.5, Robert 211.0, and Mafira a 208. Just see how that rear just snaps out as Brandon was preparing to go into turn number 12. Just gets itself a little bit squirrely. That's because of the engine braking. Oh, that's very wide there, Brandon. I'm sure that's going to be a warning. So to those who have just joined us, we do have only 6 drivers. We've lost Terry and Jacques. We did have 2 drivers that were stuck in the lobby, not able to get in due to net issues, and 3 drivers that weren't able. So we went from a grid of 13 down to 6 now. This is the second last heat of the series, and we will just go on a little bit of a break, just 2 weeks. So we will be back as we prep for the next season. And there have been some requests / opportunities for us to race. So we'll definitely let everybody know what's going to be happening in the next couple of weeks of what the next season is. But we'll definitely be keeping a Monday night racing alive. 4.5 minutes left to go, and out in front, if cameraman Tim can find him, there he is. That is Stefan. So Stefan, unfortunately, missing out on some races. He missed the first one. And disconnected out of one of them, as well as last week. So he is currently sitting in 7th place. But with this current position that he'll get 20 points, which will then get him that much closer to Vaughan Hills, because he is only 7 points behind Vaughan Hills, and between Vaughan and Stefan both fighting for 6th and 7th overall. But they should be able to leapfrog not only Marius but Tyler Scott as well, so that they should get themselves up into 4th and 5th respectively. guys, after this race, don't run away because we'll still have the second heat here this evening as we then start making it a little bit more interesting. When we go into the inverted commas night race, we start at 8 o'clock in the evening, game time, and that definitely does bring a whole new dynamic. So the track gets cooler, your braking points start moving. It does make it a little bit easier to make that mistake, especially if you are using markers on the track as your braking point or your turning point, because all of a sudden that little mark that you would see 100 or 200 meters away, now that it's dark, you only see it as you get there. But Stefan, near flawless say appearance here. I suppose it is an appearance. Just wanted to look at the time penalties. Brandon DeSantos 2 seconds there for him, and Robert a 2-second penalty for him as well. And that is generally due to lap times. Just see how neat that entry was into turn number 16 there from Stefan. Less than 2 minutes left to go as Stefan approaches turn number 16. So this will be the final lap. See, Durkee's got himself a little 1 second there for his effort. 2:04.0 is Durkee's fastest time. Interesting enough, Brandon DeSantos closing up on the back of Vaughan. 2 seconds is the gap, but with Brandon having that 2-second penalty, that position is pretty much safe when all Vaughan would need to do is just stay right behind him. I'm sure Mafira is going to be absolutely delighted to know that he's going to need to be starting this race. Because what we do is we take the top 6, we do a reverse grid, and then we go racing for the second heat. So down the back straight towards turn number 12. Let's just see where Stefan is. So Stefan now exiting out of turn number 18 through turn number 19. Nice and easily there for him. GT3 line Intercontinental Championship. So there we go. Stefan comes home in first place. Sorry guys, I'm just going to turn my attention off the screen just so I can get these points in. Stefan is first. Durkee comes home in second. Vaughan finishes in third place. Great drive there. Great battle between himself and Brandon DeSantos. So Brandon in 4th place, Robert in 5th, which is definitely going to help him with his 2nd place overall. And then we've got Ferrari, who's going to come home in 6th place. So there's Durkee in 2nd, Vaughan in 3rd place, Brandon DeSantos in 4th, Robert in 5th. As he crosses the line, and then Mafira now coming through to number 19. So just getting the starting positions for the guys, and we'll just drop that in our Discord, and then we'll get cracking right away. So guys, we're just going to get the lobby set up for the next race. Take off our practice as well as our qualifying. Double checking the time for the second race. Can't remember now if it was 8 or 7. I think it was 8 o'clock. 7 o'clock in game time. So we can quickly just adjust that. So just waiting for the last of the drivers to come in. So there's Jacques, who's come back in. Terry's back. Jacques is back. So 8 drivers back in. We're just waiting for the thumbs up from Dirkie and Jacques. Obviously something happening in the lobby, but I unfortunately cannot hear them. It just might have been Jacques clashing, but let's just drop a message on the Discord just to see what's the guys are saying. But as soon as Dirkie gets that thumbs up, we will be racing once again, and that will be round number 2 of the final race for this Ford versus Ferrari season. To the guys that are watching on the chat, let us know what a possible series should be. We'd love to hear that. We could always take that through to the drivers. So that was the confirmation there. Jacques was just clashing with Terry, but we'll see whether it's been sorted out now. But now Jacques is clashing with Dylan, so that's a disaster. So Robert has got to just keep it on the track, and that will promote him well into his second place. Now before the championship, Dirkie cannot lose now. He has already confirmed his championship, and that is by more than, let's see here. Oh, the formula hasn't added up, but he is well well clear, and can sit back and then just enjoy this race for his fans. So here comes Jacques back into the lobby. So message coming up to say that he's out. We can go. Let's just give him one more time. So just told him let's try once more. So yeah, Jacques comes back. So not clashing with me, so that's great. Let's see, he's not clashing with Terry. Thumb is up, which means we are go, go, go. So a last race of our Ford versus Ferrari. Guys, if you're on the stream, let us know that you're still here. We always like to hear it from the guys. We have just put up a message to say, last race of the season, guys, enjoy it. Let us know what is some of the racing you'd like to see here at SARCO on the Monday night through Project Cars. We do know that the Project Cars game is coming to an end, so we are trying to maximize it for as much as we can. But the starting positions for this last race are as follows. Is we're going to have Mufira, who's going to lead us away, Robert in a second, Brandon third, Vaughan Hills fourth, Dirkie fifth, and then Stefan, the race winner, will start off in sixth place. We'll have Vaughan, Terry, and Roxanne joining from the back. So it is going to be a crazy last race. See guys getting very much out of the way, but really don't need to do that so dramatically. You can still pull off nice and gently. Mr. Bond, a DTM type of racing, we'll have to see. Well, look, they do have the old touring cars, so that might be an option. We'll definitely throw that into the suggestions box and see what the guys think. Cameraman Tim just can't get the transition right. So Mufira out in front with Robert in second. Then Brandon in third place. Vaughan Hills on the Dutch International line. Fourth. Dirkie fifth. Stefan sixth. Sure, he's going to be wanting to get his way up through the order just to show the dominance he had and duplicate that for the second race. Rockstar now in 7th and Terry down in 8th place. So down the back straight towards turn number 12. And it's just so interesting that through the S's, it's not only the Ford, which we saw Jacques going off, but also the Ferraris just snapping, losing that rear and sending the car essentially to its eternal death. So Adrian, the DTM Classic cars, those always do bring some fantastic racing, and that's because the slower speeds, the guys are joining closer together. So yes, I agree, it does bring great racing. So we'll add it into the mix. So I think watching turn 1 will stick with Brandon Santos. He's now exiting out of turn 18. Single file down to the start finish line. Ferrari will now just monitor the pace. Ferrari still hasn't put the pedal down just yet. He's waiting for that line. He's left it right till the end, so it is race. So that will give him the advantage going up into turn 1 by himself. Vaughan Hills is going to try and go around the outside, but a contact between himself and Durkee, so Durkee now able to move himself to 4th position. You just see that rear snapping a little bit there. Now Vaughan right on the back of that Ford, and it looks like it might have been a little bit of a tap there, but Durkee now able to just compose himself. Vaughan using the rear counter steering and sliding that car. Looks like the cooler temperatures are making it nice and tricky, but it is Mafira out in front who's starting to pull away from Brandon and Robert, but it is Brandon who's going to have a look to the inside, turn number 11, not close enough. Let's just jump further back, and cameraman Tim is confused, looking for Stefan. There he is. So Stefan has got a Rockstar Mal now. Looked like he was going to have an attempt for an ownertake, but Jacques just backing off there, allowing Stefan to go through. Side by side, great move there for Brandon. And that is Robert now coming up and getting himself ahead. So Brandon now to 2nd place, Vaughan in 3rd, and Robert 4th place there. Durkee still down in the 5th place. As they exit out of turn number 18. Brandon is starting to close up onto the back of Mafira within a second. But then Vaughan's within a second of Brandon. Robert's within a second. Durkee in a second. Steve within a second. And Rockstar Mel within a second. So the first lap has been extremely close, and that is Vaughan, and Mafira's gone wide into turn number 1, and that's now allowed Brandon Santos to go around the outside. Is Vaughan going to follow Mafira trying to close the door on the inside as they go through the S's? Vaughan just unable to get side by side there. Cut off the corner there for Robert. Wonder whether that will be a time penalty there for him. But now Brandon starting to open up a gap between himself and Mafira. Vaughan still trying to find a way past that Ford. Stefan still trying to close down on the back of Durkee. Down through turn number 10. They're going to go to the heavy braking zone at turn number 11. From this angle, it just shows you how wide that corner is, but when you're in the car, you go down to 1st gear. So Brandon has Mafira half a second behind him. But now Stefan really starting to close forward in front of him. And Vaughan has got their rhythm. When you've got cars so close together, you tend to start watching that rearview mirror. Turkey trying to have a look through the inside of 17. It looks like the Ford just loses a bit of the rear there as they go through the second phase of that long right-hander. Turkey now making a move to the inside of turn number 20. They're going to be side by side. So Turkey now sneaks through. By him doing that, he's allowed Stefan to come with him. But it looks like Vaughan is now going to slot in behind Durkee. Stefan now on his outside, which is now the inside, into the braking zone. Stefan's going to have a look to the inside and he's going to get himself ahead of Vaughan. But it looks like it was contact there between Durkee and Stefan. So that puts Vaughan up into second place. Rockstar Mel now comes up into third. Stefan in fifth and Durkee down in seventh place, with Terry once again stuck on the side. I'm almost thinking that there must be some technical issues there. So Mafira starting to open up a gap, 2 seconds between himself and Vaughan Hills in second place. But Rockstar Mal now right on the back of Brandon. Sorry, the back of Vaughan Hills. So down the back straight towards turn 12. And there's Mafira still 2 seconds. Jacques still trying to find a way around Vaughan, but as he does that, he opens the gap. Little tag there from Stefan, who rotates Jacques around. So Jacques taking a very long way around. Oh, it was actually Robert who unfortunately tagged Jacques there. Sorry Stefan, did not mean to call you out there. No, it was Stefan, sorry, it was Stefan that had dropped back there. We had tagged Jacques. So Brandon dos Santos in 5th place, he ran himself wide out of turn number 18, so that's now dropped him down the order. And Robert now trying to get himself, that's now more than a second between himself and Brandon dos Santos. And Durkee closing onto the back of Vaughan. Durkee a 2:10 that time round. Vaughan a 2:07. Mafira 2:06. With 15 minutes left to go. You see Jacques sliding that forward through the S section. So he'll now come up through turn number 8. A little bit too close to the left hand side. It's quite stay on the inside. Should open up that turn number 9. And Stefan now able to go through. Stefan really battling to get that power down. You can see as he got onto the straight, still that rear just snapping a little bit. And that would have just compromised his exit speed. Look to the inside and is going to have a dive, and that is Brandon and is that Brandon and Stefan behind him. So that's Brandon and Robert having an almighty battle here. Brandon putting himself on the inside for turn number 12, but that then put Robert on the inside for 13, so Brandon had to give up that move. But all he's doing is he's just slowing themselves up, because there's Stefan now in the background in that 4T. So the two Ferraris now just about side by side, lock up there. For Brandon, and that is going to allow Stefan to close up right behind him, and is he going to have a lunge onto the inside? It looks like Brandon is going to set up that move, and Stefan's going to have an almighty go, but realizing he's not going to be able to close that. And Brandon goes to the inside, but Robert now trying to sneak up on the inside once again. Robert is going to be on the outside, just squeezing him, closing that door, which now allows Brandon to go through. Robert is now going to have Stefan right behind him. Through 3, 4, 5, and there's a car spinning in the background. That was Brandon dos Santos. So that now puts Robert in 3rd place, Stefan in 4th. And Rockstar Mal in 5th place. I am just looking for Dirt Key. I'm not seeing Dirt Key because we are now down to 7 drivers. But now on the back straight, setting up at turn number 12. We're going to have a look to the inside. Robert now goes through, but he does compromise his entry a little bit. Stefan's going to have a go on the inside. He's going to be side by side there. So Stefan riding the curb, but now he's going to have Robert on his inside as Robert bounces over to number 16. So Stefan must just be patient. He must just get right behind Robert as they come through 19 and 20. But Stefan has an almighty dive into turn number 19. Robert didn't see that coming, but now Robert's going to try to go around the outside, but that's going to slow him up because now Rockstar Mal's going to have a go as well. He just brakes, tucks into the back of the Ferrari, and now we'll get the slipstream up the hill behind Stefan into turn number 1. Robert taking the quicker line, which now is going to put him on the inside through turn number 2. They're going to be side by side, but Robert taking too much inside curb, just rotating the rear too much and letting Jacques go through. Just jump on board, you can just see how many this is, because that looked like Robert had just tried to turn in a little bit too soon, but Jacques wasn't really there. So Jacques just allowing Robert to go through. So 10 minutes left. Last race here of this season, this series, Ford versus Ferrari. What I'm seeing is starting to close up on the back of Mufira. Because where that gap was floating around up just over 2 seconds, it's now dropped to just over 1.5. Mufira did do a 2:05.6, so he was going quicker than Vaughan Hills. But let's see what happens as they come in forward, losing the rear through turn number 17. That's going to put him right up on the wall, because now Stefan's going to come around. I wonder whether you'll see Vaughan there, so he should be able to go wider. Will he have a little lunge now into turn 19? No, he doesn't. But now Mufira, 10 seconds is that difference between himself and the 3rd and 2nd place driver. Crossing the start-finish line. 2:04.7 there for Stefan, 2:17 for Vaughan after that mistake. So through the S section, definitely part of my favorite part of the track is this little section here, and that is the going into 6, 7, 8, and then onto the 2nd gear, letting that car rotate and flat out, just taking the inside curb. flat out here through 10. And is there a opportunity for Stefan to have a look now at the end of the straight, turn number 12? It looks like Vaughan just not able to get the power down. Stefan, I think, also just got a bit of a fright and had to come out of the power there. Turn 12, and that sets Vaughan up. Vaughan just about rotating it all the way around, but he manages to just minimize that complete spin. But now, where he was on the hunt to take a first place here from Mafira, is now battling with the car and has lost the place to Stefan. So very unfortunate there for Vaughan. And we do have this final battle. And this is Jacques versus Robert. And remember guys, this is the battle now for second and third overall. Jacques unfortunately disconnected due to load shedding, which if he had finished in his current position would have had a 2-point difference between Jacques and Robert. And Jacques would have had to have beaten Robert by 2 positions to get that extra point to take that second place overall. So I did see the 1 second warning coming up, and as I jumped there, obviously it had to go away. So we can jump back to Jacques and Robert. Jacques a little bit sideways through turn number 8 there. Just see Jacques using those curves, and it's helping to rotate the car. Ooh, lock up there for Jacques, so going a little bit too deep into 11. Down the back straight. Jacques lining his front wheels very much in line with the rear wheels of Robert. Just about couldn't see that there were 2 cars there, and that's how pinpoint behind him he was. Jacques a bit too wide into turn 16, so that's going to help Robert just open up a little bit of a gap, and you can see that time just opening up ever so slightly as they come into the faster part of the circuit again. Down into 20th. So we have the 4-minute mark. He's got 4 minutes and he's got a gap of 4 seconds he needs to hang on to, and he will take a win here this evening. That car now coming around the corner, turn number 11, so it will be, it might be this lap plus 2 more. Just see what time Mafira crosses the line at. But now 3.5 seconds is the gap between Stefan and Mafira. So it is going to come down to the wire. Ooh, Stefan is wide through turn number turn 15. 13, that was into the exit of 13. Just over the curb on 14. But now 2.6 seconds is the gap. And with, what's that, 3 minutes, so it is going to be 2 laps to go. So Mafira's going to have to hang on for 2 more laps. It will be the lap that he's starting plus 1 more. So 2:08 for Mafira, 2:04.4 for Stefan. All Mafira needs to do is just make sure he gets his braking points, his turning points absolutely spot on. And if Stefan does get behind him, just keep that car in the middle of the track, make it difficult for Stefan to make a move. Rather slow him up on the exit. Mafira, you can see very, very sideways into turn number 7 there. Now that gap to within a second. So Mafira's going to have to make sure that he gets this absolutely spot on, because Stefan is going to have the slipstream advantage. But then through turn 12 all the way through to 19, he can make that a single foul. Mafira now moving to the right hand side to try and break that toe, but Stefan now with nearly half a second is that distance. Mafira needs to be good here, their car rotate, just kick in the rear, not able to get a smooth exit. So Stefan might just set him up on the inside. Ooh, he looked like he was going to have a look there. Now needs to stay on the middle, in the middle of the track, not opening up too many spaces and too many gaps to entice Stefan to have a go on the inside. It was a great line there for Mafira, but he's gone sideways, just managing to hang on. Stefan pulls out of the throttle there. Now it is going to be the last lap. Mafira's got this one last lap with Stefan in the slipstream. You can see that time now coming down 0.3, 0.31, 0.30, 0.29. Move to the inside, Mafira. That's it. Protect that inside line. Make sure you're good on the throttle. Hold the inside line. Now stay in the middle of the track to force Stefan to try and go around the outside. Lots of space on the inside there now. Getting a little bit sideways, turn number 5, but now up through turn 6. Stefan is going to have to go, but Stefan jumps off the curb. Just be patient on the throttle here through turn number 8, then flat out through turn 9. Stay in the middle of the track there, move to the inside now, protect that inside line, don't give him an opportunity to go to the inside. Stefan's going to try and have a look there, but decides to rather pull out. Stefan gets on the power. The rear snaps for both Mafira and for Stefan. They're going to be side by side down the back straight towards turn number 12. Just about the same distance. You can see the lap time there. 0.000 is the difference there. Stefan going to go to the inside. Mafira can try the undercut, but stay to the inside. Mafira losing the rear on the power. So it was just a matter of a couple of corners for Mafira there to almost take a win here. But Stefan, having started in 6th place, coming back and taking the lead now. An absolutely fantastic recovery drive there for Stefan. And Mafira, a 2nd place for him. I'm sure that he, well, will be disappointed that he didn't get that win. I'm sure he will be quite happy with the fact that he was able to get into a podium position. But Stefan now will cross the line and take the win here with Mafira in 2nd. Vaughan will finish in 3rd place, with Robert just ahead of Jacques. But now Jacques will get that position, and that's only because there was a time penalty there for Robert. So Jacques will take the 4th place. Robert will come home in 5th position. Brandon De Santos will finish in 6th, and Terry will come home in 7th place. So guys, we're just going to get the drivers into the discussion, and we've got confirmation that Dirkie's inverter decided to switch off. So unfortunately, Dirkie finishing, what's that, it's 5th overall for the evening. Vaughn, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Just waiting for Mafira. So what's the weather like in the Netherlands this evening, Vaughn?
It's fucking shit.
Hey, we got coconuts, man.
It's terrible. It's raining, cold.
Fantastic. Just what we are missing in South Africa.
2 degrees.
No, that's terrible.
Yeah.
All right, let's get going. Mafira, are you here yet? No, Mafira just yet. Well, Vaughn, let's start off with you. I must say, quite a good race for you this evening, but it looked like that. Here's Mafira here. So we'll come back to you, Vaughn.
Yeah, cool.
Mafira, are you there?
Yes, still on?
Fantastic. Welcome, welcome, welcome. A 3rd overall for you this evening. And I must say, your heart must have been beating when you're watching Stefan starting to close you down. Missing that win this evening by just a matter of a couple of corners. But take us through that last race.
Yeah, I had an incident with one of the Ferraris, turn 1, I think second lap. I'm not sure what happened there, but I just drove on. People just kept on making errors behind me for some reason. The final lap, Steph I just panicked a bit.
Yeah.
And I think there was a Ferrari parked. One of the Ferraris was parked in the S's, so there was always a light when you'd go through there. So I wasn't sure who it was or whatever.
I got you. Well,
I got my all today.
a 6th and then a 2nd place for you. Absolutely great effort there for you, Mafira. 3rd overall, as I mentioned, 28 points. Let's go to you, Vaughn. You also had a point where you're starting to catch down Mafira. It was closing, and I think the evening stint looked like it was a bit more of a handful than during the day.
Yeah, I don't know. I was looking at the times now. The time seemed a bit better in the evening stint to me overall with all the guys. Yeah, I was catching Mafira a little bit at a time, and then I think through the right-hand sweeps, just before you get the left kinks onto the start finish, my back left touched the outside curb, and it actually spun me off or spun me around. So I lost that time I made up, and then I had Stephen hunting me down. I think this track suits the Fords for sure. I think I'm about a couple of tenths a lap down on them, no matter how hard I try. So yeah, I think they just have that grunt down the straights. But yeah, overall evening, and yeah, it was good fun.
And that's exactly where the Ford was making it up. It's definitely down the straights, but through the S's, you could just see that the Ferrari was a little bit more superior, and especially coming through the back there through turns 15, 16, and from you go 17, 18, you could actually see the Fords pulling away through the long right-hander, and that's essentially where that time was lost. But an absolute great result there for you, 2nd overall for the evening.
Cool, thank you.
Let's go to you, Stefan. It looked like this car and this track combination just suited you perfectly.
Yeah, it was a little bit strange for me because I actually said before we started I really don't like this track. So I'm really surprised with the result there. But it was good fun overall. I think I might have to change my mind about the track. It was a bit of a messy race, the second one, but yeah.
And I must say, it must have been pretty exciting chasing Mefera from 6th place and leaving it to the last couple of corners to take that win.
Yeah, it was definitely tense. I could see I was catching him. I just didn't know if it was enough. I really thought at one point it really wasn't enough. I was also making a few mistakes of my own. I think if he didn't make that mistake going onto the straight, he might have held on to the first place there.
Yeah, Mefera, if you go back and watch the stream, I was actually talking through what you should be doing. So lesson learned for next time, because you should definitely have closed the door there going into turn number 11 and made Stefan fight and not just be able to ride up on the inside like that.
Yeah, I just didn't want to. Because
Remember,
I could have to death.
if you had squeezed him, you would have had to make him go around the outside. But go back and watch the replay. So
Yeah, I just started overdriving as soon as I saw him, but I definitely should have had a bit of more composure. But you know what it is.
no,
It's my first time in the